Welcome to Local Beauty. I'm your host, Jackie Rodman, owner of Local Aesthetics. I'm joined today by Desiree Flores. Is it Flores now, or is it Guzman, or are we doing it both
I
ways?
haven't changed it yet, so technically or legally it's still Flores, but eventually I will change it to Guzman. Soon.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be like Desiree Flores Guzman, or if it was going to be either or.
I thought about it, but that's too long, so I'll drop Flores eventually. Just waiting to
Okay,
finish school.
right. Um, So we had Desiree when I was still on Beauty Bound. If you're new here, Desiree is a licensed esthetician and owner of House of Bella Aesthetics in San Antonio, Texas. We met about 3.5 years ago, correct?
Right.
Through through my Facebook group, Estheticians of San Antonio. And we quickly just became friends after being Glow and Gather business partners. So anyone I work with, I just become friends with them. It's hard, like, not to,
Yeah.
and we've had two Glow and Gathers so far, and she's also the moderator for Esthetician San Antonio. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, that's just a little bit of how we met. Um, we so we kind of got a little bit into how Desiree started on Beauty Bound, but just for anyone that's new here, tell us a little bit about what you do at your spa and what your focus is.
Yeah, so I've branded myself as the intimate skin expert. So I specialize in corrective skincare. Typically, I started as an esthetician as wanting to do lashes and things like that. I don't even do that today. Corrective skincare is my thing, specifically intimate brightening. So basically helping correct hyperpigmentation of the skin in intimate areas such as underarms, inner thighs, things like that. That's my niche, that's my jam, and that's what I'm known for here in San Antonio.
That is amazing. Like, how did you find that niche? Like, why did you choose to specialize in intimate bleaching specifically? Because I feel like it's kind of a hush hush profession. Like, if you know, you know, or you don't ask a friend, you just like Google, But how did it come about?
It came about, I don't know if I want to say by accident. I didn't know that I was looking for it. So, right out of beauty school, I was looking to further my education. As you know, in beauty school, they just teach you what you need to know to pass state board. And there's
Mhm,
so much more to our industry than that. So, what really sparked my interest was Brazilian waxing. We
mhm.
did have a chance to practice in beauty school on each other for Brazilians, but it was few and far between. And coming out of school, I didn't feel confident in offering the service, but I knew that it was something that I wanted. So, Sandra, actually, who's been a part of Glow and Gather, she's been an educator for years, and she's, an instructor at one of the local beauty schools here in San Antonio. She was hosting a Brazilian and intimate bleaching class that I didn't know I needed. So I
Mhm.
found her through social media. And this was, of course, before I got to know her. Found her on social media, saw the flyer, and because I saw Brazilians in intimate bleaching, I was like, I don't know what that is. I know what Brazilians are, but it sounds like it could mix. And so I booked her class and I learned how to do both. At that point, after I learned and took her class, I realized that the intimate bleaching, also known as intimate brightening, is something that was really of interest to me. And I started exploring it more. I added it to my menu, started taking models, and the rest is history. After that, I started doing some research because I wanted to see what other product lines were out there. There's just so much more to know than just that line. And over time, I've evolved and I've had the pleasure of working with a few great companies. And now I teach intimate brightening for other professionals as well in the industry, in addition to me offering that service that I saw.
That is amazing, and she is like the only like educator in San Antonio that's, I guess, with a company that's like the lead educator. So She works for Dermastart, and she has a class coming up in January. If you'd like to sign up, there's still time, unless this comes out. No, I think it'll line up right before.
Yeah, no, we have
Um,
time. January 26th, so we have plenty of time. It'll be a live class here in San Antonio. Um,
mhm,
and it's going to teach you all that you need to know. It's a full day master class. It really teaches you not only the ins and outs, but the science
mhm.
behind intimate brightening, the products themselves. You're going to get to watch a live demonstration and even practice with the model. So it's going to give you everything that you need to know if somebody that's listening has been interested in learning that scope and trying to bring it into their business, and this would be the perfect class for it.
Yes, absolutely. And I hadn't heard of a class just as like nitty gritty as Dermastarts too. Like it's a really, really like thorough course that I highly recommend, and I will be taking it soon. So if you can't make the January class, stay tuned for the next date, and you might see me there. Um, so how long has it been now since you've been in aesthetics and in the industry?
Um, I want to say time has flown by so fast. 4 or 5 years that I've been in the industry. About the same, yeah.
Wow.
I think we're kind of about the same, you and I, with our timeline. In
Mhm.
regards to when we finished school and stuff. So, I launched my business right out of school. So I do have a
Love it.
background in business, and so I was bold, and not to give too much away, but I just decided to kick off with just a few people as clients. I really didn't have any. I had a few friends and social media.
Mhm. I love that. I love that, like, risk takers. I myself was also a risk taker, and it helps too if you have like a background in business and you are passionate about what you want to do. But guys, so we actually do have a topic today that we're going to discuss with Desiree, and that is what it takes to go solo full time. So I'm forgetting if we did discuss a little bit about your corporate role on our Beauty Bound episode, but if you didn't know, Desiree has left her corporate job
Yes.
and is now full time at the spa. I feel like we've been talking about this for 2 years at least. Like, girl, I was been like, girl, when are you leaving? Like, and obviously, we're gonna get into it, but like, my first question I have, um, and what we're gonna label this topic is like what it takes to go solo full time is like how how did you manage at first when you were like, okay, I'm going to open my spa, but still keep my corporate job? Like, what was your setup like?
It was all about time management, which at times was difficult to do. So it
Hmm.
really just took a lot of sacrifice of me pretty much isolating myself from everybody and focusing on my business. Not in a bad way, but I just became too busy for anything beyond what was needed to build my business. Of course, I have a daughter, and my focus was making sure that I have that balance of taking care of her. So I had to play it smart. I would get out of work at, let's say, 5 o'clock every day during the week, and I would start taking clients at 6 o'clock on the dot. So I always made sure the day before that I had my spa ready to go. So that way, if maybe I was running late or something, I had my spa set up for that client so I could just show up and start working. Um, I made sure to plan around my daughter's schedule. So on the nights that I didn't have her, that I knew that she was with my daughter's dad, then we would schedule clients, and I would work late. So I would work sometimes till 9, 10 o'clock at night at times, every
Hmm.
single weekend, including Saturdays and Sundays. And there was a lot of times that people would invite me places, and I would have to say no. I have clients. I'm sorry, I have clients. So that was rough sometimes, but I made it a point to put my business as a priority because the end goal was to be able to leave my corporate role and pursue this full time. So I ran my business part time for almost 3 years. And I
Wow.
finally got to a point where I was booked and busy on a part time schedule. And then there started to be people joining my wait list. And it was a constant thing that there was always somebody on a wait list, always somebody waiting for that next spot. And once that started to happen and my numbers started to grow, then I knew that I needed to make that jump. So just that time
Mhm.
management was really critical. And just that sacrifice. It was, do you want to go out with your friends and have fun on times that, maybe you don't have your daughter? Or would you rather be taking clients and scale your business so that way you can expand? And so obviously I chose option B, and I don't
Hmm.
regret it. It was the best decision that I could have made for my business.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your pivotal moment where or your I guess your breaking point from your corporate job switching over to, your aesthetics job full time? Like why were you like I'm done?
I was always on someone else's dime, always on someone
Mhm.
else's time. I was a salaried leader in the
Mhm.
corporate industry, and I was responsible for about 17, 18 people at one time. And it was basically investing my time and effort to make a bigger company rich, right? That's kind of the way I saw it. I was putting back in a sense of helping the individuals that I was responsible for learn, grow,
Mhm.
and promote and things like that. And that itself was rewarding, but the demands of the job just were too much at some point. It got to the point where I was no longer enjoying the role. And even if I was at my spa till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, I never had that feeling of, oh my God, I have to go with a client. I guess I have to hurry up because tonight I have to work at my spa.
Mhm.
Aesthetics never felt like work. And instead,
Yeah.
I found it calming. I found it fun. I truly enjoyed
Mhm.
connecting with my clients and then helping improve their skin. Being able to see
Mhm.
them happy with their results was probably more rewarding than anything else. So, my breaking point was just the stress of the day to day at the corporate job that were no longer fulfilling. It no longer served me. And that's when I knew it was time to move on.
Right, right. And you were at your corporate job for a couple years before you started aesthetics too, right?
I was with that company for almost 10 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And so going backtracking a little bit. So what made you jump into aesthetics like from being in corporate and then being like, "Oh, okay, was there a point where you're like, I can't do this forever. Like I want to try something else."
Yeah, so beauty school specifically was one of those things that I always saw that was too far-fetched for me.
Mhm.
Because of my 9 to 5, I'd been working since I was 17. So I really didn't feel that beauty school was a thing, was a possibility, even though it was something I wanted to start pursuing. Only
Uh-huh.
because I always had to work. I think what kind of got me into it was a couple things. I wanted more control of my time. I wanted more control of how much money I can bring in. And when you're salary, you're capped. It doesn't matter how many hours you work, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, maybe if you get a promotion or a bonus, you can increase that. But when you're salary, that's it. You're guaranteed the same pay no matter what. And I was tired of
Yeah.
that. At the time, I was a single mom. I was grieving because my mom had passed away a year prior to me making the decision to go to beauty school. I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship, and I was just trying to find myself again and find something that was fulfilling. Um,
Mhm.
Initially, I was interested in doing lash extensions, and so I paid for like a $200 online course at the time. I went to Amazon and I
Mhm.
bought like a mannequin and I bought all the basic things that I needed to learn how to do lashes, and I started
Yeah.
practicing at home. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't know at the time that I needed to be licensed. I didn't do that far fetched into research. So once I was done with my course, I was like, oh, I can take clients, but wait, let me look into this further. And then I realized
Mhm.
that I had to do, or I had to be licensed. So
Oh
that's
my
when I was like,
goodness.
okay, let me look at beauty school. I don't think I can do it. I was already kind of in the mindset of like, I don't think I can get that, but let me see. I didn't realize that they had opened up part-time options for school, which was night school. And when I saw that, I quickly jumped on it. I was like, okay, I put in the my information so that the school can call me to request info. And pretty much about a month and a half later, I was enrolled. And that's when another
Mm.
sacrifice jumped in of me literally getting out of work, picking up my daughter, dropping her off, and then going to beauty school from like 6:30 to 9 Monday through Friday. I did that
Wow.
for almost a year. the mom guilt was heavy. But I
Mm,
knew that it was a sacrifice that I had to make if I wanted to make something of myself. Of
okay.
course, in beauty school, they promise you that, oh, you're going to learn lashes and you're going to learn this. We did like one or two modules on lashes. We didn't really learn much. Um,
Yeah.
but once I got through beauty school and we started learning other things, I realized that I really enjoyed facials and, I really enjoyed waxing. And then now that was
Hmm.
a whole other venture that I didn't even know that I was going to go down.
That's amazing. I feel like we all find our niche in beauty school a lot, or like we expect to like one thing and then we like a completely different thing. I mean, that's at least how it was for me, but wow. So, how has the transition been? Like since you have left corporate and how long has it been since you've been full time at the spa? What does like the schedule. Sorry, I'm keep adding on side
No, you're
questions.
good.
Um,
I'm following.
answer the first. You can answer the first two,
Yeah.
and then I'll continue on.
So, how it's been, well, first it's been already officially 2 months since I left. So I left
Woo
in
woo.
October. Um,
Mhm.
and it was bittersweet, right? Because I was leaving behind people that I'd learned to genuinely care about, especially my
Yeah.
team. Leaving them was probably the hardest thing, um, because I cared about their well-being, and I still do.
Mhm.
But it needed to happen. And after that, I mean, I what I didn't realize was that I was chronically stressed. Like I lived in
Mhm.
stress all the time. My hair was always on fire, for lack of better words, because I was constantly, busy for one thing, right? I would work,
Mhm.
get out, go to, go to my spa. And then by the time I'm home, make sure things are taken care of at home and so
Mhm.
forth. But then after that,
Yeah.
once all the chaos stopped and all the responsibilities that I felt was weighing on my shoulders at my corporate job ended, it was
Uh
like
huh.
a whole new world. There are still other
You.
stressors, right? From a financial aspect, I spent a lot of money to move into my current spa and really expand my services and, do everything that I'm doing now. It's a different type of stress, but nothing
Mhm.
in comparison to what I was feeling when I was working at my corporate job. So, this has been the best 2 months of my life, as crazy as that sounds. I feel
Oh my
like
gosh,
a totally new person.
I love to hear that though, and I feel like your schedule has like opened up
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot to have, your time with your family, your time with friends, and then also more time to focus on your business. Like, honestly, still don't know how you did it with all, that goes into owning a spa, like the marketing, like the promoting, finding the clients, and then also focusing on your day job. I'm just like, girl, and we didn't even mention she's pursuing a master's degree
I
too.
know.
Like,
I didn't even think about that.
bitch, like,
Cool.
what?
I go to school online. I'm taking one class at a time. What should have taken a year is taking a little bit longer. I'll be done in September, but the one class at a time gave me that balance.
Mhm.
So honestly, Thursday nights, I had one assignment due. I made sure that I had it done on time for Thursday. And then, I mean, my next due date was Sundays. And so every Sunday, I made sure that I was out of the spa early enough so that when I
Mhm.
get home, I can do my assignments, submit those, and then get ready for the next week. It has been a huge sacrifice, but the vision that I have for my business and where things are going is far bigger. So I was willing to put in the work 100%.
That's awesome. Like, what has also been different? Because I know you added so many new services, which is exciting. Were you able to now like take the time to like learn more different, services to offer, and then like what's I guess different about House of Bella part time and House of Bella full time?
I would say now I have more freedom to not only manage my schedule, but continue my
Mm-hmm.
education. That's one of the biggest
Mm-hmm.
things is like I've learned a lot and I'm still learning a lot. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to really dive in even further into courses that are available. Learning how to navigate through different types of peels. I've, also taken a class on working with, darker skin tones, because I think that that's important. I think that that's something that we all need to learn more about, is like really how to navigate and correct darker Fitzpatricks. I think sometimes people are afraid of, you know, working on darker skin tones because there's different parameters sometimes that we have to abide by. But
Mm-hmm.
the reality is you just got to educate yourself. So I've been reading books, I've been taking courses, just really I'm able to focus in more, even more on my education so that I can continue to provide the best for my clients. And that's really what it is. A lot of my client base, especially being in San Antonio, are Latinas. And I want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that I'm able to comfortably continue to work on their skin tones and work on that severe hyperpigmentation and really
Mm-hmm.
work on safely and gently correcting it. I don't want to, we're all human, right? We can all make mistakes, and knock on wood, I'm good. I haven't gotten there, right? But I want to
Yeah.
be ahead of the curve. I want to know if things go really south, right? What does that look like? How can I correct it?
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, I'm in the esthetician Facebook groups, as I'm sure you are too, and I'm sure you see that all the time. Hey, my client, this is happening. I don't know what's going on. What advice do you have, right? I want to be able to, yeah, leverage those options if I ever need it, but also
Mm-hmm.
be educated enough to know if something goes wrong, how can I fix it without freaking out and then waiting for somebody on Facebook to answer me and help me.
Right. Because who has time to wait for an admin to approve your damn post? We're admins, so we like to
We
just
are
laugh
admins
about.
and we
We
work
like
to
to
be more
laugh.
posts.
Right. We like to laugh at some of the people that are like, y'all took forever, and like it's not marketing Monday. But if there's a question, we obviously approve like right away.
Yeah,
Our group's not super large like the money making esthetician, right? Like we have a small team, but it's because it's a small group. I mean, it's what my version of small. um, but yeah, like no one wants to have to go to Facebook for like a question,
right.
honestly. Like it's good to keep yourself educated, keep yourself. I even like with the people we've met in the industry, sometimes I won't even go on Facebook. I'll just send a text to somebody. I'll be
Yeah.
like, "Girl,
Yes.
have you done this before? Because I haven't seen this." Or like some people will text me, be like, "Girl, I used the freaking Lyra pumpkin and it did not,
Yeah, and you and I
it did
have had
not
that.
react."
Yeah, and you and I have had those conversations too, where, and I think it's always good to lean on each other and have that community. So,
Hmm.
when I talk about educating myself, it's not so much so I can know everything, because we're never going to know everything. That's just the truth. We're
Hmm.
always going to come across something that stumps us, and that's where we lean on community and things like that.
Yeah.
But that knowledge is just so valuable to be able to confidently know what you're doing, but then be able to explain that process to, your
Hmm.
client in terms that they understand. And so education is going to be critical in the treatment room. Your clients want to know what you're doing. I walk them through the process. What is it that we're using? How is it going to benefit their skin? They want to know
Yes.
all these things, and it just also builds that comfort, that trust, and that bond that allows them to
Hmm.
keep coming back, because that's what they'll do if they feel good about the service and the experience that you provided. So going
Hmm.
back to the main question, with my free time, that's really what I've been doing. ProCell, that's one of the newer lines or brands that I've brought
Hmm.
on, ProCell microchanneling. And I've been those master classes, those webinars, like all those that free knowledge. I sign up for those classes, I'll tune in, and if I can't, I'll play back the recording and I listen. And I've learned so
Hmm.
much from that as well. So again, just that downtime has really allowed me to further expand my education, and that's something that I'm going to continue to do as I continue to grow in my business and as an esthetician.
Yes, I love all that. Like it's we have to have education and like continue on education and lean on other SDs
Yeah,
for just seeing how they do things. It might not even be a better way, it just might be a different way
exactly.
of doing stuff. And I remember once I even asked you about like the bad Brazilian I did. I won't tell you all the story, but not yet.
We got through it though, and we
But literally, I think I like Desiree was one of like four people talk to. Anyways, again, I don't specialize in Brazilians, but Desiree has been doing them much longer than I have. So it's like I had a little question about. I don't even want to get into it, but anyways,
I got
oh
you.
my gosh, guys, I have like my list of questions too, that I keep glancing at. So if you think I'm on my phone, I mean, I kind of am, but it's my list of
I
questions.
got you.
Um, okay, so you had a pretty, clear structure in your corporate role. Like, what is your structure for being like, owner or manager of your spa? Is it different? Is it nice to just like organize everything the way you want? Like, and what's your different schedule
Yeah.
like?
It's still a work in progress. TikTok has actually helped me find ways to organize my
Ooh,
business. There's a couple of content creators out there that shared what is it called? I think it's called Good Notes. It's an app. Um, there's a Good Notes app, and then I went to Etsy and I bought for like $2, $3 like a digital planner for the year. And so I found that
oh,
super helpful. It's something that I'm still working on because this I probably just discovered this a couple weeks ago. Um, and TikTok, I was able to find some tutorials on how to like navigate through it and just how to really work with good notes and be able to write everything in there. So with the digital planner, my goal is to dedicate a date, which I already set for myself. I have a dedicated date, which is going to be an admin day, where I'm just going to sit down and plan everything out for the next 2 to 3 months. I'm going to write down my content days. There's a virtual vision board embedded into that planner as well. So I'm gonna,
mm,
work on that and block out any dates that I need for personal things, whether it's appointments, time with my daughter, and so forth. And that's really how I'm starting to plan out everything. When I was in the corporate world, I heavily relied on Outlook. And I planned my day around Outlook and I had my block meetings and schedules and coachings and everything like that that I needed to do throughout the week. And then I had my dedicated admin days. So it's really just a matter of me taking what I'd learned and my time management skills that I had in the corporate world and using an alternative, in this case it's Good Notes, to be able to stick to that within, my personal life and my business now. Um and then one thing that I'm still learning is setting boundaries and sticking to it. Um,
okay,
I am closed 2 days a week, and that's specifically to, dedicate time for my daughter. So I'm strategically closed on the days that I know that I'm going to spend time with my daughter. Sometimes if I have a client text me and I'm typically closed on a given day, I'll, say yes to maybe an appointment when I typically wouldn't, right? So
okay,
I'm working
yeah,
to scale that back and I'm working on learning when to say no. I don't say yes to everything, but at the same time I'm like, well, I can do it. And I'm like, no, if you dedicated your time to an admin day, then you're not going to take a client that day. That client needs to wait until you're available again. And,
hmm
you know, I, they can go on my website and book from there. So I think that's the thing too, is trying to balance that, working to
hmm
help accommodate your clients but not inconvenience you, because I think as estheticians sometimes we do that. We bend over backwards for clients, and we need to also take a step back and realize that we're humans too and we need our own time. We have families, we have lives, and we shouldn't be always available for someone's begging call.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I feel like that's something I did in the beginning too, because I was trying to get any client I could. But sometimes in the beginning, like, yes, it's okay, but you don't want to get into like that bad habit to where you're trying to like switch your schedule around for a
Right.
client. Sometimes if it's like a client I've seen for a very long time, I'll be like, okay, like I'm flexible because they're, our bread and butter if they're continuing clients that we've had over the past couple of years. But
Right.
for a new client, it's like, okay, we gotta stick you gotta go and book on my website, okay? No DM for bookings, no like none of that.
Yeah.
Um, it's
True.
because it gets confusing, and then at least for me, I'll get messages on all the platforms like Facebook, Instagram. It's like I don't want to keep checking everything for people. And then I've had people too where they're like, "Oh, you didn't respond quick enough, and I booked with someone else." It's like, bro, because I have all these platforms. I have all these
Yeah,
platforms. I can't check everything. I'm only one person, and it's you can't you can't do it. Can't
yeah.
do it all. Um, I'm like, where was I going with that? But yeah, Good Notes, is that an app or is
Yeah.
that like,
So it's an
oh
app.
my gosh.
I think it's like $11 a month. You do like a 7-day trial, then you can buy yearly or like do I think it's like $11 a month or something. And there's so much that you can do with it from what I've seen. But I started with just the planner and it's been perfect. Like it just really helps me plug in everything that I need to so that way I can look back and use that as my guide to kind of reference my day, my week, my month. Um, there's tabs in there where you can look back and it'll say like, what over the last quarter did you accomplish your goal, right? Whatever the goal was. What are some things that you would do differently? So there's questions embedded in that planner that help you take a look back and say, okay, did I hit the goals that I said that I would? Did I actually accomplish what I said I wanted to do? And if not, let me take some time to self reflect and put in what stopped me, what got in my way that prevented me from accomplishing that goal, whether it's
Wow.
monetary or client based, whatever it is. So I'm gonna keep messing with it and just learn as I go.
That's really cool. And I honestly didn't even think about setting aside admin days like months in advance, but I feel like that is helpful. Um, I don't know if anyone else has done this who's listening, but I just plan it as the week goes on.
Yeah,
Because sometimes I'm just like,
I'm guilty of
okay, I'm going to plan it, but then it's last minute and then I switch it. And so I got to stick to my own schedule. It's hard when you own a business and you make your own schedule because then you're like, oh, I have no boss to ask or, you know,
that. Yep,
ask for permission to not go to well, not okay, I was about to say not go to work, but, like, you know what I mean.
I get
Like,
you.
if you're at home
It's
and you have a co
different. There's
either it's a
no
content
repercussion.
day.
Yeah, there's no repercussion from anyone else if you don't,
Mhm.
do something you said you were gonna do. Um, and most of the time, if that happens, I'm just mad at myself for not getting it done. But the planner definitely has helped me start to filter that. I'm an esthetician with ADHD, and so my brain is constantly running. I have 1,001 thoughts, 1,001 things that I need to do, that I want to do. And if I'm at that point in my life where if it's not on my calendar, I'm gonna forget. So I need that calendar.
Right.
So I'm just trying to build that foundation and use that as a nice and fun guide to get me to where I need to be.
That's amazing, and I need to do that as well. I mean, I know, like, one time I bought a planner and I lost a planner. Just like it was a
Yeah.
little, like, a physical planner. Maybe if I had an app, then I couldn't lose it.
Mhm. I have
That's
it
a
on
good
my iPad
idea.
too. I have it on my iPad. I downloaded it on my phone, but I have a
Mm.
little iPencil, and so I kind of have fun with using the pencil on my tablet. But if I need to reference that
Ooh.
and I don't have it with me, I have the app on my phone, and everything syncs. So you can just pull it
Mm.
up on your phone and
Mhm.
take it from there. So anyway, that's one of the things that has helped me, work to better manage my time now that I'm out of the corporate world.
Oh, genius. And I probably already know the answer to this question, but do you have any regrets?
Regrets in regards to what?
Regrets, I guess, like transitioning full time? Or were you like, nope, that was the right move at the right
None.
time?
No regrets whatsoever. I will say that
Yay.
sometimes the anxiety will kick in of, especially because of the timing, right? Some people will
Mhm.
say that we're in a recession. Some people will say that, I'm sure you see it in aesthetics, groups all
Mhm.
the time. Oh my God, it's so slow. I can't get clients. And, you read those things and then it gives you that, subconscious anxiety of, oh my God, well, what if I don't get clients? What if I don't make enough money, right?
Mhm.
What if, whatever. But that's where the sitting down, the taking time to look at your books and look at things that are working and not working, and those dedicated admin days are going to come into play and be so pivotal so that you're not sitting
Mhm.
in the dark and you can stay ahead. for example, I have memberships for intimate brightening. That's my bread and butter. So even if I have a slow week, maybe with clients coming in, I have a payment coming in from a membership. And that is what helps me stay afloat as well on those slower weeks. Um, I think that it's a matter of working smarter, not harder. You don't have to
Mm,
save yourself 80 hours a week or whatever it may be in the spa, 40 hours a week. I'm basically working part time, so to speak, still, even with my expansion of my hours. I want to say I work maybe 32 hours a week on a busy week, and I'm still able
wow.
to make full-time income, so to speak. Um, so I think
Wow.
it's just a matter of us getting in our heads and thinking sometimes that, oh,
Hmm.
I can't do it. I'm scared. You're always going to be scared. There's always going to be that fear. And if you constantly allow fear to get in your way, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to take that jump. And I think that that's what, after I hit year 3 and I look back and I'm like, I'm still at my corporate job. What the hell am I doing? I'm done. I'm out. At that point,
Hmm.
I spoke to my husband and I was like, I'm ready to jump. And he was on board. And so I did. So it took time.
I know that's amazing that you did have such a supportive husband that was like, all right, you're out of there. Like, let's take the leap together. Because I feel like, I mean, Nathan's so like awesome. I mean, he's been a great partner. Even before y'all were married, like you guys had those goals, like for your business, like before and after marriage, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
and I'll pivot with that too because somebody listening might say like, "Oh, well, I'm not married, I'm single, I have nobody to, help me." And or some people might be thinking
Mm,
like, "Oh, must be nice." No, my husband didn't sit there and give me his money and be like, "Here you go, don't worry, I'll take care of it." When I started my business, I took everything out of my retirement, my 401k. I took everything out of my 401k to invest in my business. That's how I got started.
mhm,
And then the second thing that helped me jump was the fact that I made sure that my credit was in a good place so that I can establish, not only my personal credit, but business credit. And once I was able to start there, that's really what helped me jump. And if I'm being transparent, because I have nothing to hide here, Lyft Funds is a local organization here in San Antonio that dedicates funds and support to small businesses. They helped me with a business loan that helps me make that final leap. So it wasn't that my husband came and
mm,
said, "Hey, here's a wad of money and I'm going to take care of you," right? But it was more of my credit was where it needed to be. I had been working
yeah,
on that for a while, keeping my debt at a minimum. Did I deplete my
yeah,
retirement and am I working on building that back up? Absolutely. But had I not taken that risk, I wouldn't be here now. So I just
hmm
wanted to share that for anybody that might be listening and think like, oh, must be nice to have a supportive spouse. Yes, he's supportive and he's amazing. And I'm super thankful for him. But that wasn't what allowed me to launch full time.
yes, and that's yeah. Sorry, guys, I did not mean supportive like financials.
No,
I
no,
meant
not
like
at all. But I
someone who
know people
has your
think that. So I'd
right.
rather be
No,
here and
I
speak
didn't even
better.
think that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that, and I was like, oh yes, like yes,
Yeah.
because like we talked about the loan, and I was like, that's incredible. I didn't even know like that. Well, I did know it was a thing, guys. Let's not say that, but I didn't, know how to go about it. And then I was like, damn, Desiree, like yes, loan got approved. Yeah, let's do it. Um,
Yeah.
but I just think like a lot of I don't know, some spouses just don't want to see their wives win or have be like these corporate girly or not corporate girly, sorry, like these boss babes and own their business. They want them to stay home and be a housewife. And I'm like, no, like I want to go work too. And you absolutely should. So
Yeah.
that was my point. Sorry.
No, 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 no.
um,
I just wanted to clear the air because I know that,
yeah.
we have different audiences and I feel like
Hmm.
even if somebody doesn't say that, like, oh, your husband probably, right? Um I know that some people are thinking that. And so even when I was leaving my corporate job, I had coworkers be like, "Oh, I want to marry somebody like that." Like I think the perception when I left was that I got married And now my husband is sitting on a wad of cash, and now all of a sudden I'm able to pursue my dreams. And I'm like, little did y'all know, I worked my butt off for this business. Like, this started way before I even met him. But I think I
Yeah.
had just that subconscious bias of like, oh, well,
Mm,
coincidentally, she got married, and now she's quitting. And it's like, okay, I can see where that timing was close, but that had nothing to do with the fact that I finally
mm,
took that leap. Where I will give my husband a lot of credit is he did, make sure to bring up that conversation and say, hey, we really need to strategize. If you want to leave, we need to actually, plan ahead to make it happen. And we talked about Lift Fund, and he's like, well, apply for Lift Fund. I was like, well, I already had started an application. It's too much. He's like, let's apply for it. And so he helped me kind of get through the application, which was a little bit lengthy, but he was on it to help me accomplish that goal. Right now, the approval, that wasn't in my hands or his hands, but thankfully it got approved. Right. And that's really what helped me finally take that jump. But prior to that, it was my numbers looked right. My business was constantly growing. Clients were continuing to book. And that also
mm-hmm.
let me know I'm in a good place to take that leap of faith.
Right. And okay, so if you were to get asked by someone like, "Hey, I'm part-time just like you were," like where would you recommend them be position-wise to take that leap?
I would say to fix your credit first if your credit's not where it needs to be. I think that's the biggest thing. Um, Fix your credit and start saving some money. Even if it's, whatever you can, whether it's $50, $100, right? Save some money. Um, I would also say maybe find a mentor or find somebody with a little bit more experience in the industry that can help guide you. I didn't
Hmm.
necessarily have that right out the gate, but
Yeah.
what helped me was some of my corporate experience, my background. I kind of knew some of the ins and outs to at least get started. I know how to talk to people. I know how to go through consultations. I know how to coach people. So some of those foundational skills that I learned in the industry is what really helped me kind of get there. But I would say the credit is going to be the number one thing. Why? Because whether you want to, venture out and even maybe buy some products, and maybe you do need to finance those products. Some of them
Hmm.
require credit pool. You're going to need that. So that's going to be the biggest foundation. Um, and I would say explore all options. Do your research, do your homework, and plan a goal and stick to it. If you know that you want to leave the corporate world in 6 months to a year, then plan what are my finances going to look like? What is my credit going to look like in 6 months to a year to put me in a good position to make that move? It's just going to make
Hmm.
your life easier versus going backwards and starting it with no money, bad credit, and then maybe jumping into something like a salon suite. Nothing against salon suites, but you and I both know they are very expensive, right? And if your numbers aren't right, it's going to put that burden on you. It's going to put that stress on you.
Right, because you're not going to get clients right out the gate.
No,
I'll just say that right now. Unless maybe you're coming from another spa and you've had clients that want to follow you. But even then, that's
it takes
not
time.
guaranteed. People can tell you, "Oh yeah, I'll follow you." And then, will they? Like, I don't know. I mean, any way you start your business, whether you're coming from another spa, you're starting from scratch, there's always a gamble, right?
Yeah.
Like the clients come with time, with the proper plan, marketing, and yes, you need money to open a business and run a business.
Yeah.
How many or how full was your like schedule to where you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna be fine opening full time and leaving my
My
corporate job.
schedule during the week was limited, right? During the week, only because I was working evenings, I would say, and because I was, I had my corporate job, 2 to 3 clients
Yeah.
a night. So I wasn't working crazy. It's not like I had 10, 15 clients in a day. It was 2 to 3 clients a night, 3 to 4 times a week, right? My
Okay.
weekends were my busier days, and
Mhm.
there were days where I was working with 5 to 6 clients a day. Typically
Mhm.
Saturdays and even Sundays were pretty busy. But I think the other point to it was my price point of my services. Now, I didn't have
Mhm.
no $500-$600 services, right? But what helped me was the memberships, as I mentioned before. Creating some packages sometimes were also helpful, especially with the intimate brightening. Most of the time, the clients are going to need multiple sessions. So selling that as a package or as a membership is really going to be where you're going to make the most money. So it was really all about strategizing my price points and what my clients were booking the most. Stacking some of your services. I had some clients that would come in for a facial and an intimate brightening service. So those were longer services, but just with that one client, I'm making minimum a few $100s just with that one person. And it might take me a couple hours, but at that point, I'm taking that one client, making the most money with that time that I have from that individual versus having
Mhm.
15 clients. So it also helps reduce that burnout while retaining that client loyalty.
Wow, y'all. She she did it all. Like she I'm still like I'm still so happy for you, like
Thank you.
truly. Like that you've gotten to this place and you're in a new location, a beautiful spa, like
Thank
bravo.
you.
A
I
little clap.
appreciate
um okay, last question. Is there anything you would have changed from start to finish?
I would have probably done this sooner had I known that this is where I would be. But then I think about it and I'm like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. I think that life kind of put me on this journey that I didn't know I was going to go down. If you would have spoken to me 10 years ago, my job or my mindset was to stay with the company that I was with and retire. And
Mm,
as I started to see the politics within the organization, as I started to really see behind the curtain of how things worked, I was like, no. I saw how quickly people had been fired, long time people, and just
mm,
how and that's with any corporate company. That's not even just with mine. Over the years I saw through, excuse my language, but I saw through the bullshit. And I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. So, would I
yeah.
change anything now that I think of it? No. I think that I landed exactly where I needed to be. When I opened up my business
Mhm,
part time, I went in as a realistic person, knowing that it was going to take time, knowing
mhm.
that this business was not going to be built overnight and that it was going to take time and effort and full on dedication for me to get to where I want to go. So I have bigger visions. There's so much more that I'm going to do between my business, between us working together with Glow and Gather, because we are going to make something even bigger out of that. So not to get into that, but more to come, right? I think
Yes.
I'm exactly where I need to be. So no regrets.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Sorry, I do have a follow-up question.
No, you're good.
Okay, so is there anything exciting we should be expecting from House Bell Aesthetics in the new year? Anything fun coming? Any changes?
So I am currently in the works of obtaining a medical director. With the medical
Mm,
director, that's going to allow me to expand my services even further,
mhm,
specifically with the corrective skincare. Initially, I was going to do laser hair removal and I had a laser machine lined up. I did a little bit more homework after taking one of the aesthetics classes that I mentioned that focuses on darker skin tones, and I learned a lot. And
mhm,
that's when I realized I needed to swap out my laser machine. So the laser machine that I am going to
mm,
be getting, probably late January, early February, is going to allow me to further correct hyperpigmentation on face and body. It also does laser tattoo removal. So maybe
oh, snap.
I might dip into that a little bit. We'll see. And with the medical director, I will be able to expand my services a little bit more with maybe some more medical grade products, maybe some peels. Of course, I'll have the
Mm,
marketing. So more to come, but those are just a few things that are on the horizon. My clients are getting first dibs on some of those announcements. So um, I'll probably be announcing some stuff here as I plan.
Ooh, that's so exciting.
Yes.
Um, ooh, I'm excited to see the progress, and we'll have to do a follow-up too when we see House of Bella Med Spa.
I know, right? We'll see. I've thought about it. I don't know. I personally don't want to go into like injectables. I know
Hmm.
that's technically an avenue I can dip into if I wanted to. If I
Yeah.
did, I would probably get an actual RN to work with me. So that's very future state. Right now, I'm really focusing in on continuing to build my brand, continue to
Hmm.
market, and really put myself in a good position for people to know my name. And I don't mean like
Hmm.
know my name as like who am I, but more of know my brand and recognize it. That brand awareness is huge. And I know we didn't really get to talk about this, but I never really paid for too much marketing per se. I paid for marketing materials like business cards and stickers and other things like my brand here, right, with my scrubs. Um, Social media. So for anybody listening, I will say things like TikTok, just get out there. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to, know everything that you're going to say on that TikTok or on that video. A lot of clients have found me through social media, and I've had people tell me that they do their research on TikTok. So platforms like that are where it's
Wow.
at. You just need to get out there, and even when you're doubting yourself and you're thinking like, "Oh, this content, I don't like it. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like what I said." Just post it. Somebody out there is going to be able to find you and connect with you and go from there. So, I'll leave you with that.
Y'all, I am like the biggest social media, I don't even know like the words, like advisor. I tell people who are just getting started, I'm like, bitch, just get your ass on
Do
that
it.
camera and just start talking. If you are too afraid, do a voiceover, do something, and just don't like, yeah, watch it. But if you're like, oh, it's like a little cringy, still post it. You get better with time with anything.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it gets to where it feels natural and normal. Like you're not going to be good at anything right off the bat. Okay, so like don't worry about embarrassing yourselves. We've all been there. I've had cringe moments too. Like,
We have to fight
let
the
me tell you.
imposter syndrome because I feel I get like that too sometimes. And there's days where like I'm trying to make content and I'm like, no, oh, I stuttered again, or oh my God, I did like in my own head, I'm battling myself. But then like at that moment, I'll take a break. I'm like, okay, I already made something, I'm gonna put it away. I come back later and I look back at it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. But I was being my
Right.
worst critic. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna post it. And I post it. So I think that's helpful and just just get out there. That's how we all start, right? So
Yeah. And even if we mess up, we're not robots. Like, we can't just sound
no,
just on it all the time. We're going to think something's wrong with us.
exactly.
Like, stop comparing, guys, stop comparing yourselves to other girls on social media that have been in the game for years and years and just sound so good online. It takes time and practice. Just start is my best advice when it
Yes.
comes to social media.
And kudos to Jackie because you, I know, have come a long way with public speaking since we met.
Oh,
With
Jesus Christ.
the glow and gather events that Jackie and I have done, and like going to talk to beauty schools and all of that stuff. I admire how far you've come as well, and I'm so glad that you've stayed consistent with even having your podcast. So I appreciate you letting me be on here and share my journey, and
Oh,
I'm excited for what's next.
I am too. And again, yeah, do whatever scares you. Public speaking was like my biggest fear, and it's still scary just talking in front of like a bunch of people live. For some reason, for me, I feel like it's really different when you're like virtual and talking to someone like on a podcast instead of like live.
Yeah,
Because then if you mess up, like you mess up. I think that was my biggest fear, at least. But again, I'm getting through it. I'm getting over it. So it's gonna take me till Glow and Gather Volume 5, I'm sure, to sound like perfect, I'm sure, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
we need to talk a
So
little bit about Glow and Gather. Maybe not on this one because of our time constraints,
yeah.
but maybe we should dedicate a future one to talking a little bit about Glow and Gather, maybe for our new whoever may be listening that's new to your
Mhm.
podcast. So yeah,
Yes. Okay, so I think we should dedicate an episode to Glow and Gather when it is in the official production mode, I guess, or when we have a date set, and we will go over our event and all the good stuff because I it's really exciting planning a third event. Like we didn't even expect to get people the first time, and now we're planning year three. So we're Desiree and I are so excited about to talk more about Glow and Gather Volume 3, and it's coming. It's
it
coming.
is summer
But
26.
yes, summer 2026. Stay tuned. And okay, where can everyone find you at if they want to be a client, if they want to get in touch with you for your classes?
Yes.
Where does everyone find you?
So you can find me on all social media platforms. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. My two biggest ones going to be Instagram and Facebook at House of Bella Aesthetics. House is spelled Haus, and
Okay.
I think somebody said on Instagram you have to like space it out. So House of Bella Aesthetics and have like a space between each word for it to come up. But nonetheless, you'll find me. Houseofbellaesthetics.shop is my website. And if you click around, that'll eventually take you to my menu, my version of Linktree, and all the
Mm.
goodness. The link for the 2026 masterclass for intimate brightening with Dermastart will be found on there. And then you'll find some FAQ pages. I have an FAQ page about like intimate brightening and things like that. So there's a lot of good information. And then, of course, if you're a client or somebody that's interested in booking, then you will be able to find all of the goodness there on that website.
All right. That's amazing. Thank you so much again for coming on Local Beauty. If anyone has any follow-up questions too, we can surely like answer them.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
But all right, guys. Thanks for listening to us today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Okay. Bye.
Bye.